We all want to do good things and we want to continue to do those good things. Aside from that, we also do not want to do bad things and then we want to continue not doing those bad things. At least I would hope so. Now, a lot of that usually is because we developed good habits. That's one thing that helps us continue and then always preventing the things that need to be continued and prevented. So here in this channel where we talk about fitness and dieting and exercise and all that, we need habits here as well. And a lot of times because of that, we'll have all the inspiration in the world, all the motivation in the world, and it'll only last us a few days, or maybe a couple of weeks at the most, and then we're back at zero. So we're gonna talk about habits, the importance of having them, how to have them, and which ones we should have. So stick around because that is coming up right now. So you'll excuse my hair if it's all over the place. I was in the shower and there is absolutely no discipline there whatsoever. But talking about habits now, well, I don't know what other fitness vloggers, YouTubers you follow, but I know for a fact that me as a person, I am not perfect. I don't have the best habits. I don't always keep them. I break them. So for me to just tell you that the key to everything is having a habit and then you're all set. That habit, once it's established, you'll never have to worry about it breaking. I'd be lying to you. And I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of these people that have these amazing physiques have habits that they break every once in a while. So they have to take other measures that maybe some of us who have jobs, more time, less time than they do, maybe less resources, are unable to do. Now, it may be difficult for them, but again, for these people, it is probably part of their lifestyle. Their livelihood depends on it, so it's a little different. While mine is more related, my work is related to IT, I don't see many people saying I need to get in shape so that I could be a better IT technician, whatever the case is. And the same might go for you folks if you might be accountants, lawyers, doctors, paralegals, whatever it is that you do, it's gonna be taxing on you in the sense that you won't have time to exercise, at least specifically because of your work. So it's completely normal that our jobs may create a problem for having good habits. On top of that, there's everything else. When we wake up, what mood do we wake up in? How is our sleep? After work, how are we feeling? Do we have time for ourselves? Do we have a family? Do we have other responsibilities to take care of? Is there another job that we have? Do we have two jobs? Are we going to school, having another education? So it might even be like some people will tell you, you don't have a bad habit you don't have a good habit because you don't have the desire. But there's many people out here who have zero time to do it. So this is where I say, and unfortunately it hurts to say because it hurts to hear it, which is what you're doing. It hurts to say that it's up to us to make the time. And it's just not an hour on a Tuesday every week. It's more like we have to find a way to always make time, because if we don't, in a way that is regular, that is always available, it's easily gonna be broken. So if I say, let's say today is Tuesday and I work from home on Tuesdays, I'm just gonna go ahead and work out after work and I'll cook something, whatever. Well, let's say I run out of food and I have to do my food shopping on Tuesdays. After work, I have to go straight to the supermarket, buy some things, come home, put it away, maybe cook something, go to the gym. By the time it's time to go to the gym, I'm not gonna wanna go anymore. And let's say I do have that desire that is gonna be overpowered by being busy, because I'm not gonna say go to the gym and then have no food in the fridge. You kind of have to see what's more important. It's very important to be in great shape, to feel better, to feel positive. But there's different types of important as well. So it's about being able to take care of your bigger necessities so you can have time for your other necessities, the more medium-sized necessities. Medium to great, because yes, working out is super important. Now, to develop a habit, there's all kinds of studies that say there's a specific amount of time that it might take to develop a habit. I've heard someone say that it takes 90 days. I've heard another person say that it's 6 months. I'm not gonna read another one just to find the most updated one, only to then realize that a year later it's changed to another amount of time. So I'm not gonna tell you how long it takes to develop a habit. What I will say though, the longer you're doing something, the easier it is to make it a habit. It's just simple as that. Now, if we find something that we're absolutely in love with, then yeah, there's a greater chance that we'll fall in love with it to the point of making a habit sooner than later, as opposed to making a habit out of something that we don't like. Like, for example, someone who doesn't like to go running, it's probably gonna be harder to make it a habit because he doesn't like it. But if he did, it's not gonna be much of an adjustment. So that's why if you're going to create a habit, start with the things you like. You don't have to do all the workouts. You don't have to do the workouts your friends are doing, the ones you're seeing on the videos, on YouTube, on TikTok. You don't have to do all those workouts. You do what you like, create a habit, and then as long as you're active, you're doing something for yourself, your mind is gonna start rewarding yourself, and then you will eventually start doing things that are not as pleasant, and it'll be a part of you. And so now I am here, I am taking advantage and making some that is country style pork ribs. However, do not be deceived. It's not actually the rib, it's like the rib meat or something. I get them at Hy-Vee. You can get them at any like Aldi, any supermarket you can find them. They are really good in macros. Ribs have a lot of fatty meat around it. That's why it's so good. This one goes for about 140 calories for 4 ounces and 25 grams of protein. That's practically a whey protein macro number ratio. So that's a really good deal. I would suggest you get this. So taking advantage of this, basically, I would say when you want to develop a habit, it's usually another thing that makes it easier is having a habit of something that is important to you, something you need to do. For example, like if you got to go to work, you know that you have to go to work. Like whether we want to admit it or not, or whatever the phrasing would be, we have to go to work, and we do it every day. But could someone easily not go to work one day? Of course. But we have the habit of needing to go to work, the habit of needing to pay our bills, the habit of needing to be responsible. So that whether or not you want to admit, that's a habit, and it doesn't feel like that because you need to. So it's a part of you. So if you do something like exercising, dieting, whatever the case, if you make that a habit, that one that it's like super important to you, it'll be much easier. It won't even feel like a habit. It's just a part of you. I remember when I was working during COVID, it was like 2020, and they actually let a couple of us work at the building where I work now. And I think we were only a group of 15 in a place where there was typically about 300 people, I think, and it was completely empty. And so we couldn't even go outside because if we wanted to go out and come back in, we had to do this signing of paperwork. So it wasn't even worth taking our breaks and going outside for a walk. What I would do is, I had no other choice. I had to put my book bag on, raise my desk, stay standing. I would basically walk back and forth while I'm on calls. And sometimes I would do some calf raises. I had to get creative. I had to put heavy things in my bag just to make it harder for myself. And it's a situation where most people would say, I can't work out because I'm stuck here. No, if you're creative and you feel that you have to, you find a way and you get it done. It's also important to prepare to be bad at it, to make mistakes, to have the habit break, because right in the middle of our plans, our goals, it's hot out, so I'm sweating. Somebody could have a graduation, a vacation comes along, and we can't maintain our usual schedule. So what we do there is we have to be, we have to make adjustments. And if we're flexible, we should be able to just come back. When we're done with whatever we need to do, we just come back and be stronger. And or we simply just, accept it, or we can go with our goals as well and make an agenda and follow that. But if I may be honest, I suggest when you're on vacation, you're with your loved ones, wherever you are, just enjoy the moment and embrace it, because you don't get that often. Enjoy it. Also, if you are prepared to mess up your habits, when it happens, you don't feel bad. You don't beat yourself up about it. And what happens when you're depressed, when you feel bad? Oh, you think that you're not capable of having this kind of lifestyle, that it's not for you. Well, then when you finally get encouraged again, you hear a song, encouragement, motivation, and you're pumped up again, you would have lost a lot of time because you were depressed at one point. But if you just prepare that this is normal, this is life, then it's not going to affect you as much. And when you want to come back, it'll be so much easier. Also, we seem to want to, so at first we got to start with easy things, the things that are easy to stay compliant with. But later on, as we take on bigger goals or the more difficult habits, you might think, oh, it's hard, I can't do it. Just because it's hard does not mean you can't do it. If you look back at what you've accomplished in the past, you'll know that you have the strength to continue going forward with even more difficult things. So what you got to start doing is, when you're going forward, think about having good habits in the long term. If you have a good habit for like a week or a month, yeah, maybe it'll help for that, but what about the rest of your life when you want to make some big changes? Well, when you make a long-term decision, it'll help you long-term. I mean, how long do you want to be in shape? A week? Or do you want to be in shape for the rest of your life? If you do it that way, you'll see a whole lot of benefit. You'll be moderate, you won't be beating yourself up about it, and you'll reach your goals much more realistically. So what I'm making is almost done. Again, my hair is just a mess. I'm gonna just finish this, call it a wrap it up. And yeah, if you have any questions for this video, I hope you really enjoyed this. Hope you found it useful. It's not easy to develop habits, but when we do it, it's very gratifying. So any questions you have, leave them in the comment section below. I appreciate the liking, the sharing, and the subscribing. And you already know, everybody, if you do more, you will be more.